Let's do a quick 5-minute tour of my very messy at-home art studio and a space that is quite literally a dream I never thought would come true for myself. This space is attached to our dream home that we bought in 2020, and we bought it at a time where we got really, really lucky, and I can't even really believe that this home is ours. Most days, this room was the icing on the cake for a home that we already knew was ours the moment we walked into it. We weren't sure if they were going to accept our offer because we couldn't offer even $1 over asking, but we wrote a really nice letter to the owner and she accepted, and we got really lucky. We got in at a time where we could afford it, and now at this time in our life we would not probably be able to afford this home. So this studio space has evolved quite a bit over the last 5 years. There was a couch in here at one time, there was a TV in here at one time, and there's been all sorts of different layouts and setups, but I finally feel like I have a flow in here that makes sense for both my creative process and also my reflective process, which involves a lot of journaling and research for paintings and collections. And just, I wanted the space to not just be a space for slinging paint around. Also, there's wood walls and ceilings. So I've already destroyed the tile floor in a lot of ways that I feel guilty about. So I wanted to make sure that this space was more for my contained painting and more for my reflection. So I've got a table for journaling that is completely covered with crap, and I am in the process of cleaning the space, as I always am. This table opens up. It's an antique table we got years ago, and of course I've covered it in paint since then, but it is usually where I go to watercolor and to junk journal and to creative journal, but it has not been used in a while because it's so messy and I need to clean it. So this is my accountability statement right now, that the next time I post a video, that table will be clean and useful, and I'll talk about how I use it. The skylights in here are obviously one of the highlights. It allows for the most incredible light even on cloudy days, and it allows me to take photos and see the paintings in ways that in my tiny little apartments previously, where I was painting in either like my basement or my guest bedroom, I had barely any windows and barely any natural sunlight. And so to have this outside my window, to have these floor to ceiling windows, like, I truly have to pinch myself. I truly have to pinch myself as someone who grew up in a 900 square foot home with 6 people that lived in it, or 5 people. And well, I guess you could say 6 because of all the dogs we had. Those all counted as one person. And so the light in here and my ability to see my process, my ability to see myself as worthy of this space has taken a long time. Here's the other messy table. That this is more for my painting table. This is where the tabletop of this table is wild because it is covered in like 10 years of paint. And that also needs to be cleaned up, but I did get the floor cleaned up. So that's a plus. The floor is, well, I mean, for my standards anyways, I'm giggling at myself as I'm telling myself that this floor is clean. But my nephew was also just here, and he was going through my stuff with me, and he's 2, almost 3. So this is my altar. This is where I keep all my special things. It's where I come to meditate. It's where I come to sit and journal, reflect, cry, release. It has family photos, heirlooms. It has my crystals, my rocks, my special treasures, and all of that. And it's really important that I have this in my creative space because it helps me to ground and to remind myself why I'm here in the first place. Then we have the slider out to the deck. We really need some updated furniture out here. We moved our good furniture out to our pergola in the front, but we have our incredible pine stand backyard that is quite a haven. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging and like I'm showing off in a arrogant way, because I am a kid who grew up in a very specific situation, and there was poverty and there was not a lot of money, and I just recently in the last few months decided to tell myself that it's okay to show my space. It's okay to be proud of how far I've come and how hard I worked to get here. I might tear up in saying this, but like, it just, the amount of pain, the amount of loss, the amount of grief, the amount of suffering that I endured to get here is not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart. And so if anything, if this can be anything for you, if you're watching this and thinking must be nice, it's to remind you that these things are possible. I definitely have privilege as a white woman, as a person who was able to get an education despite my massive student loan debts. Like, I have privileges that got me here, but I also really had to go through a lot. And so if this is your dream, if you're watching this and saying, I wish, I want this, I hope I can have this, I was where you were not even 5.5 years ago. Not even 5.5 years ago, I would have never believed you if you had told me that this was the space I was going to create in. So keep dreaming, keep going, and let me know if you want to see more of my studio. And please hit like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want to see more.